Hi, I'm Dixie, and for the past several weeks, I have been relaxing and not sewing a single thing. My most recent attempt at sewing was this Regency Turban Cap thing, and I kind of hate it. This was mainly an experiment, but I think the understructure is just too bulky and it kind of doesn't fit and it doesn't really look the way I wanted it to. Anyway, since it's the end of the year and the beginning of a new one, I thought now is the time for reflection and setting of goals. So here's a list of the costume pieces I've made this last year. I've made 4 main gowns or dresses, but more than that, I surprisingly made a lot of accessories, which you've heard me harp on this before, but it's really the accessories, not the dress, that truly bring a costume to life. I refashioned 2 out of my 3 old Regency costumes into new wearable garments. I completed several outfits, which is important because often it feels like I finish one thing and then I'm immediately thinking, oh, well now I have to make this and this and this to go with it. But like my 1920s outfit, that's all there. My mid-Victorian work dress, I don't need anything else. And I was able to attend the DFW Costumers Guild Georgian picnic this past fall, and I didn't have to make a single thing at the last minute. I had all the pieces of my outfit ready to go, and I could even choose between different accessories, and that is a fantastic feeling. And I did 2 tutorial videos this year on how to do bust adjustments on historical sewing patterns, which I cannot emphasize enough. Bust adjustments, particularly if you have a large bust, are going to be the single most important fitting adjustment that you will probably make. If you've never done one before, it is life-changing. So go watch those videos right now if you haven't. So what about 2022? My main goal for this year is to use the fabric I already have to make the projects I bought the fabric for. I don't have a very large fabric stash, and most of my pieces are leftovers from other projects. But in the past year or so, I've started collecting yardage for various ambitious projects that I have planned. So let's go over those and have a little fabric haul, shall we? Some of these pieces are leftovers from old projects, like this one is from my Norwegian Regency gown. And this is from a 18th century petticoat that I made. But I did buy some new things. And I got some really good deals at a local upholstery fabric store. Like this taffeta that has metallic gold stripes, I got for $5 a yard. But it was because it was the end of the bolts, so it's about 5 yards. And my idea is to make a Regency era open robe based on an extant example that I've seen online. This one is only about 3 or 4 yards, and I still got it for like $10 a yard, which is a great deal for silk. And for this I plan to make another 18th century petticoat, but hopefully I have enough left over to make some pleated detail along the hem. And then this one I also got for $5 a yard, but I had to buy the whole bolt, and it's about 20 yards, which is a lot. But I really want to make a robe a la Française out of this. A sack back dress is kind of like the ultimate costumer project, and I think it's time that I finally make one. I think my skills are there, I can do it, it's just gonna be a lot of work. But I don't think that this is gonna be a project that I do this year, because if I wanna make this, I also need to make hoops and petticoats and probably another set of stays. And that's just a lot of things on my plate for one gown, when I could be making like 3 other gowns. Even with trim, this is probably more than enough that I need to make a robe a la Française. So I'll probably still have at least like 5 yards left, maybe. So maybe I can make something else with it too. Then I have a couple short pieces of yardage, like this purple taffeta. It's purple and black shot. And I originally bought it to make an Edwardian hat, but now I don't think I'm gonna do that. I don't think it really goes with any of my Edwardian plans. So I only have a yard, and if you have any good ideas of what I could do, let me know in the comments. And then this fabric is almost exactly the same as the silk that I used for my market bonnet and my 1840s bonnet. And I thought I used up all of it, but I have this complete uncut 1 yard piece of fabric, and I don't know where it came from, or why I bought it, or where I bought it, or when. So if you have any ideas for that too, let me know. It's about 1 yard. And then I still have a little bit left over of this. It's a like black and red like ribbed taffeta that I bought for the trim on my 1840s ball gown. So I could probably get something out of this as well. I'm seeing a lot of hats in my future, or bonnets. One thing I have been really wanting to make is a Victorian era sewing apron, which they're usually fancy and made out of silk and have ruffles and ribbons and pockets, and they're cute. So maybe I can use some of these smaller cuts to create something like that. I've got this cool like mint stripe, and then I've got several small pieces of this like plaid check color silk, but it's so small I really don't know what to do with it other than maybe make like a reticule or some kind of bag. So that's it for the silk, but I do have a couple pieces of cotton that are destined for some gowns. This you've probably seen me mention before, but it is an Indian block print cotton, and I really want to use it for a Regency gown that's based on an extant from about 1800. So the print isn't exactly the same, but I feel like it gets the same mood, and it has the same teal background. And that will probably be my next big project. This has been sitting in a drawer since October of 2020, and I really need to use it and get it done with. Then this you may remember me referencing in my video for my Italian gown. This was the first fabric I chose to make that dress, and it is a queen size IKEA duvet cover, and it's originally in black and white, but I didn't want a black and white fabric, and I couldn't find anything in my budget range that I thought would work. So I thought it might be a good idea just to hand color with fabric markers, but I quickly realized that that was going to take me forever, and I didn't want to do that. So I probably have enough of this that is colored in already that I could use for a jacket, and I'm crossing my fingers that I have enough of the rest of it to make like a gown. As for other projects, I still have one more failed Regency dress that I want to refashion, but I think this time I'm just gonna take your advice and take it apart and fix the gaping back, because I still have some extra fabric of that project, and I think I might have enough that I could also make some detachable sleeves to go with it. I do have one project in the works that I need to buy fabric for, and that's a dress to go over my new 18 teens underwear. But I'm telling myself that that needs to wait until I use up some of the other fabric that's been sitting around for forever. In non-sewing goals, I really need to reorganize my costume closet. It's getting pretty stuffed in there, and I'm sure there are much better ways that I can maximize my space. At the time I'm recording this, we are getting close to 10K subscribers, which is fantastic, and I'm so glad you're all here. Hopefully we can cross that line sometime next year. However, you may have noticed that I have slowed down my video releases to once a month, and that is for a lot of reasons. I had been doing releases every 2 weeks for almost a year, and I was getting burnt out. This is primarily a making channel, so for every video I have to physically make something, and then I also have to edit the entire video for that. And that 2-week turnaround time meant I couldn't tackle big projects, and the bigger the sewing project, the longer it takes to edit. And my kid is older. She's given up napping already, which is too soon. And this isn't my only hobby or my job, and I've been severely neglecting my regular wardrobe. I've sewn most of my everyday clothes for about 10 years now, and some of the things, they don't fit anymore, they aren't my style, they don't work for my current lifestyle, and I need to take some time to replenish my normal closet. And I also want to convert some of my old clothes into clothes for my daughter. and I can't do all of that and maintain a breakneck video release schedule. The whole reason I started this channel was to motivate myself to sew more costumes, and it worked, clearly, but I don't want to grind so much that it's no longer fun for me. So I think the once a month schedule is going to be the new norm. But thank you so much for sticking with me and watching this channel. I really appreciate all of your support. Please tell me about your goals for 2022 in the comments, be they costuming or otherwise. And until next time, happy sewing.